Chanukah is almost here, and in this episode, together with some awesome ladies, we talk about some fun and healthy tips to really get the most out of Chanukah. Welcome back. I'm Gila Ross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that impact and upgrade your everyday life. And I'm so excited today to have Dalia from Fully in Balance, Esther from Esther Taub Fitness, and Bayla from Veg Out. Each of them women with an incredible amount of knowledge, inspiration in their industry to talk about how to have a fully balanced, healthy, fun, and inspirational Chanukah. This, guys, is for you, right? So if you have any questions at any point, just drop it in. We've got an amazing crew of people here, and we're all happy to answer any questions that you have. What we're going to do today is, instead of me introducing everyone, we are all going to introduce ourselves with a fun fact that you may not have known about us. Who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Esther, go.
First of all, so I just wanted to say I'm so happy this worked out, because I really feel like whenever I'm in these lives, there's always something that goes wrong with technology. Like, I feel like there's always something that like breaks down. So I'm so happy this is all working. So nice to meet you guys all officially. And I can't wait to hear from all of you. Anyways, so my name is Esther Taub. I am the founder of my business, Esther Taub Fitness. I'm a personal trainer. I run an online workout program called Lifestyle. We have hundreds of women in this program that we kind of have this mindset of just kind of having the mental side of fitness included in, you know, the workouts and things like that. So it's kind of just a combination between your physical health and your mental health, and it's definitely really cool. A fun fact about me that nobody knows. I mean, I moved to when I was 11, so I don't know. Some people are sometimes really surprised by that. They're always like, "You're so American. How have you been here for 19 years?" And I'm like, I'm actually like, I am like more Israeli than I am American. Fun fact, but
Wow.
And it's not a fun fact. I could also move my ears, so no big deal.
That's amazing. Esther, I'm so excited to do this together with you. All right. Who's going next? Dalia, Bayla?
I can go. Oh, Bayla,
Okay,
go
Bayla,
ahead.
No, go ahead. It's no worries. Go ahead.
It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I am Bayla Haskel, and I am the founder and owner of Veg Out, which is Israel's first meal delivery service, which is a very cool subscription service. We deliver like veggie packed meals that we worked very hard, so everything tastes excellent and is packed with flavor and just very interesting, and you know, really
Sounds
excited
amazing.
about getting people. Yeah, I get really excited about getting people excited about eating more veggies, but like, again, in an interesting, cool way. And we've been around for about 2 years. We've served over 1,000 people now at this point, like over the past years, which is incredible. And we deliver all over Israel, from Jerusalem up until Haifa, which is very cool as well. And a fun fact about me was that I wanted to be an actor and a singer as a kid. And I had actually, when I was about 12 years old, I signed an agent, and I was going to do commercials, and there were going to be singing parts, but I started becoming religious on my own and Kolisha and everything. So, like, I actually stopped doing that. And now all these like very frum women with shadels that I see that are singing on Instagram, and I'm like, wait, what happened to Kolisha? Is that not a thing anymore? And I'm like, could I have actually become a singer? So that's some like suppressed dream that I.
Amazing fun fact. I had no idea about that about you. That's amazing.
So maybe one day, Chanukah music, if you're watching
that
this,
is so cool. I feel like that's a whole
we'll do something together.
Yeah.
I want to hear you sing one day. That's like
It's been years, but yeah, one day. Gotta get the confidence back up.
I feel that is a whole story on its own that I'd love to hear more about. But Dalia, tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I'm so excited to do this with you guys because it's the first time I'm doing a live like this with 4 people, and I'm so excited. You are all amazing and really honored to be here with you. So I am Dalia Brunschwig, and I'm the founder of Fully in Balance, which is I'm a nutrition health coach, and I help Jewish women identify their blind spot of what's preventing them from feeling great and losing weight, but all with balance. It's not the all or nothing approach. It's all really including all food types. And it's been an amazing journey. I've been 5 years in the business, and it's just so rewarding to help all these women and finding their balance. So it's really all about balance.
Wow.
A fun fact about me is that I speak 5 languages. I live in Switzerland.
Cool.
And I live in Switzerland, although my heart is in Israel all the time. I'm Israeli. I was born in Israel. But I'm living in the German part of Switzerland, and I still cannot master the German language. I manage, I understand it, but I cannot speak it. Even if I speak other languages, it's still very tough to learn this new language. And I've been here for 20 years.
German is a hard language to do. So this is amazing. Esther, Dalia, Bayla, I just feel like we could spend the whole life just talking about you guys and the things, but we are gonna jump into the topic because I think that's why people are here.
But maybe Gila, you will introduce yourself as well.
Yeah.
I was going to introduce myself. Right. So I am Gila, and it's very hard for me to describe myself because I've got so much going on. So I'm a Rebbetzin. I also host a podcast, and I'm also a coach. And my focus on coaching really is on parenting coaching, because I feel like, I've spent a lot of years in community work, and I feel like, most of the years I've spent is working with children, because we all want for kids, for the next generation, a healthy world. And I feel like the biggest impact we can make is on the parenting that parents do with their children. And we live in such a busy, distracted world that parents need more support. So that's what my passion is to support parents. And sometimes it's tiny little tweaks that we can do that make the world of difference, to make their lives easier, to make their kids grow up in a healthier way. That's my passion. And a fun fact about me, just because Dalia brought this up, is I used to live in Germany. And German is a very hard language. I lived in Berlin in Germany for a year and a half. Wow. And now I live in Manchester, UK, but I'm so jealous of you that are living in Israel, because I love Israel. My dream, that's another fun fact about me, my dream is to retire to Israel. Like, I feel like my kids are at the wrong age to move right now, but like when my kids are older and I've retired, Israel, that's where I'm going to be. Jerusalem, there's nothing like a Shabbat in Jerusalem, in my opinion.
Come live in Givat Shmuel with Esther and I.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's a great community. Come live in Givat Shmuel with Esther and I. It's a great community.
Are you both in the same community?
Yeah, we're like down the street. I don't even know why we're in.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Save me a spot.
That's another.
All right, so we're gonna jump in with asking. So basically, the purpose of this live is Chanukah is in less than a week. That's correct, less than a week. And Chanukah is an amazing time on so many levels. It's an amazing time. It's an amazing the stories and the pride and the Jewish pride that we know about it is so powerful. And it's an amazing time because it's one of those chagim, like a lot of the other chagim, there's so much work that goes into it, right? There's Pesach, there's all that prep time, there's Sukkot. Some people like going, for those of you that don't live in Israel, for those of us that don't live in Israel, it's cold, it's not as comfortable as it is. But Chanukah is just, you light the menorah, you spend time with family. It should be a no-brainer to have a fun and a healthy, and when I want to clarify, when we talk about health, we're talking about, that you'll see there's a diverse group here, and that's because we believe in health is physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, right? Like, it's the three of them. You can't sort of divide one from the other. So that's what we're talking about here, and yet let's be honest, a lot of us struggle with it, right? We struggle with, it's out of the routine. We struggle with, do I eat the donuts? Don't I eat the donuts? If I do eat the donuts, do I feel guilty? Do I not feel guilty? And what we wanted to do here today is, we don't have a lot of time together, but in the time that we have, we want to chat about different ideas that can sort of help us enjoy Chanukah, have a healthy Chanukah, and actually get the most out of it. That when Chanukah finishes in a week and a half or whatever, we feel like, wow, that was an awesome Chanukah. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to ask a question to everyone, all of us, to share our top tips for a healthy Chanukah. Does anyone want to go first?
I'm happy to start. I don't care.
Okay, Esther, go.
You can start. Do you want to start that? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess I would, in my opinion, now of course everyone has lots of different opinions when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yeah, I know, like, right, you mentioned a little bit about the all or nothing, black or white mentality, and that is, I think, like, I definitely like to, live by that and preach that all the time. So just to expand on that, I think that is probably the best tip, right, that I would give anybody who was, I guess, freaking out about Hanukkah. A lot of people are just like, Esther, what do I do? I don't know how to control myself around sufganiyot, and I'm going to have like so many of this stuff, whatever. I think the best way to look at it is your health journey is a long-term, it's long-term. It's not this short, like quick 1 month thing that you have to stick to like a robot perfectly, or even a 1 year thing that you just stick to perfectly like a robot. It's your entire life. So looking at this one Hanukkah, this one holiday that lasts, like a week basically, and enjoying it to the fullest, if that means, eating more sufganiyot than you generally would throughout the year, eating more latkes than you would throughout the year, that's not a big deal. That's not going to ruin your entire health journey. It's literally just, I don't even want to call it a bump in the road, instead of a dead end. It's really just a part of the puzzle piece that builds up the entire puzzle, which is your entire life. And having, your whole life just not having, let's say, holidays and enjoying them to the fullest, or not having, birthday parties or special occasions, things like that, that would be a really dull, boring, sad, like, situation, in my opinion. So looking at it, like, before it even starts, going into it with the mindset of, like, I'm allowing myself to not have this rigid, like, I have to have a all in or all not in, like, mentality. Rather, let me try to include, healthy foods in my life where I can. Let me also try to include less nutritious foods into my life where I can. And for some people, that means, like, on holidays, things like that. Like, that is, in my opinion, the goal. So having the mindset of, this is just a small, tiny little part of your long-term health journey is the best way to look at it. And also, you're not going to look back when you are, Bezrat Hashem, 120 years old on your deathbed and be like, oh, and that Hanukkah 2022, why did I do that? Like, you really won't. It won't be what you're thinking about. It won't have a massive effect on you. So just keep that in mind before the Chag starts. Like, this is so small. Every sufganiyah is not like this as, intense, overwhelming thing as we sometimes make it out to be.
Yeah, I love what you said, especially that point where you said, like, it's not a dead end in the journey, it's part of your journey. Because the truth is, it's actually, for a lot of people, it's the biggest part of the journey, is learning how to navigate it. Because, like, imagine if you could get to the place where you see a donut and all it is a donut, and you look at it and you say to yourself, do I want it? Yeah, no. And then you can move on, right? As opposed to for some people, for some of us, it's this donut is this thing that is so much larger, right? Like, we think of it as this, it takes on so much more meaning than it really is. It's like, it's a donut. Is it delicious? Do I want it? Yes. If not, then I can move on. But at least, like, I can eat it, I can enjoy it, and move on. Because when we kind of, like, put so much into it, like, this is like, oh my gosh, it's going to derail me. It's a donut, right? It's a donut. and I think that is I know for myself, I know for a lot of people, that is a huge part of the journey, of the health journey, is putting things in their correct places. and it's a donut.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you said, Esther. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I want to add to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go.
So first of all, I love what Esther said, because it is a lifestyle, and that's what I also try to preach. It's not a diet. It's not, you shouldn't look at this donut as a bomb of calories and is it going to ruin my whole diet? Is it going to ruin my whole journey? And it's not about that. It's actually having that balance and trying to stand behind your choices. And there's Pesach, there are Smachot, there's so many things happening in our beautiful calendar, and we need to be able to embrace them with the right mindset. And for me, I think one of the biggest tips I would give is like plan your meals and stand behind your choices, and don't say I'm going to save meals to save calories for the evening to have that donut. Have your proper meals, balanced meals, and then enjoy your donut if you want to have it. And like what Gila said, it's really about making that choice, and do I want it? Don't I want it? And if you want it, just stand behind it and move on. And if not, then don't have it, and also stand behind it. Don't feel, oh, maybe I should have had it. I felt out of place. I was in a party. Am I always dieting? It's not about that. It's about enjoying the moment and making the best out of it, because that one donut is not going to ruin the whole diet or the whole journey. It's really changing that mindset from diet mindset to lifestyle mindset, and making the right choices.
I love what you said also about like don't not eat because you want to save the calories, because like our body needs fuel. Our body needs to be looked after. You'd never say to yourself, oh, I'm not going to fill up my car with gas or petrol or whatever because of whatever. Like, no, you understand that, like, if you want the car to run, you're going to fill it up. And we're more important than a car, right? So fill yourself with nutritional food that is going to help you make food. And the interesting thing that also does is that it gets you, firstly, you function, most of us function better if we are well fueled, and then you're able to put that sort of donut back into where it is, right? Because now you've eaten well, you've looked after your body, and then you can kind of see, oh, do I want it, don't I want it? Whereas if you're not eating, then you're more likely to like be hungry and eat it.
Yeah, you're gonna go for it.
Right? And not enjoy it. Life's too short for bad donuts.
I always tell my clients, try to ask yourself, what experience do you want to have when you're eating whatever it is? Whether it's a piece of cake, whether it's like a pepperoni, whatever it is. What experience do you want to have? And stand behind it. Yeah.
Something I like to say on that topic also is like, for instance, I like to like preach a lot respecting your fullness. And, it doesn't have to, like, let's say, if you're full and you literally are already stuffed, but you see, there's like this last slice of pizza, and you're already stuffed and you already don't have room for it in your body. Like, just expanding on what you just said, how will it make you feel? Like, okay, I could eat this other people, like, it'll make me feel good. Like, I mean, my taste buds are going to love it. Like, right now, whatever, fine. But will it actually make you feel good after you're going to feel stuffed, whatever? And I always say this, food tastes better when you're hungry for it. Like, imagine just putting that pizza in a bag, putting it in the fridge, and having it, even in a few hours when you're more hungry for it. Like, you're going to eat it 100 times more. So there's definitely that mindset of just like, exactly like what you said. How are you going to feel when eating that food? What is it going to make you feel? What is that a good feeling? Things like that.
Yeah. Right. Bayla, what would you say is your top tip for Chanukah?
Sure. So it's interesting because I have so much to add. I agree with everything all three of you have said so far, 100%. And I have what to add there, but I do think I want to bring a different perspective on all of this, is because there's the dieting aspect of the gaining weight, whatever. There's the fear of that. And for my own health journey personally, a lot of the, eating healthier had come from a place of fear of how food would make me, sick, whatever it is, cancer, heart disease, like all these different things. So cutting out sugars, sorry, I'm going to just take out gum because otherwise it's hard to talk. But cutting out sugars, cutting out sugars or cutting out things that were unhealthy was coming a lot from a place of fear. And I've come to, over the years, to a place of balance. So when you talk about balance, for me, it's not just the dieting piece, but it's the what are foods that are healthy, and like you talked before, a lot of it is psychological and mental health. And when you're in a place of fear and you're afraid of eating this donut because either you're afraid it's going to make you gain weight or it's going to make you sick or whatever it is, we're putting, like you said, way too much weight on this one thing. And I had come to a place of like, if I know that I'm generally eating healthy foods that are good for my body for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or whatever it is, as much as I can, when there's a donut around or when there's a birthday party. It was my birthday yesterday and I had cake for breakfast, and I think I probably didn't eat. Thank you.
Happy
I actually
birthday.
probably didn't even eat real food the whole day until dinner last night, which for me, like, I didn't feel good, because when you're not having proper food, and I'm able to recognize that, and I don't look back at yesterday and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't have one vegetable the whole day till the end of the day. But I was able to look back and be like, I know that when I don't eat properly, I don't feel well. And I was praying on the way to my birthday dinner that I wasn't going to be in a bad mood because I didn't eat properly that day. So that's how I look back on it. So the same thing with Chanukah. I look at it as like, I want to eat healthily. Sufganiyot are yummy. They taste good. If there's one around and I'm in the mood for it, I'm going to have it. And if I'm not in the mood for it, I'm not going to have it. But that one sufganiyot is not going to be the thing that, you know, makes us unhealthy, is going to unbalance our sugar, whatever it is. Again, as long as we are taking care of ourselves in the other ways, eating the sufganiyot or eating the lakas are going to allow us to be there with our families. They're going to allow us to be happy because that thing might make us happy in that moment. There's so much more beyond, like you said, Gila, our physical health, it's our mental health. And when we obsess over the donut or the laka, it's not good for our mental health. So just bringing that other perspective beyond the diet, but the sugar and the fat and things like that, it's okay. That's not going to be the thing that makes you sick.
Yeah. And it's all about that balance. It's true. I really like it, and I like that you brought that other perspective in, because for a lot of people, it's not just about whether they're going to gain weight or not, but it's also how it makes your body feel, right? And even if you feel rubbish and you know, so you learn, right? You learn that, you know what, maybe it's not worth it, or maybe it is. Maybe it was so delicious that it was worth feeling gross for a couple of hours afterwards, right? Like but it's your decision. You own that choice. So wow, this has been amazing. So what the tip that I wanted to share, which I think aligns with a lot of what we were saying, but I want to like sort of zone out, right, and put all the other pieces like sort of in place, is that let's be intentional about Chanukah, because Chanukah has so much in it, right? There's the potential for family time. There's the potential for really looking at how comfortable am I with my Jewish visibility, right? Which I think is such a big deal, especially, okay, for you guys living in Israel, maybe not so, but for those of us who are outside of Israel, anti-Semitism is on the rise, right? And even whether it is or isn't, we all, depending on how you're on your religious level, I'm sure a lot of our listeners and watchers or whatever, audience, that's the word, come from different places in their journey, and sometimes it's not comfortable to be outwardly visibly Jewish, right? And there's also there's so many messages from Chanukah that we can take. There's the woman Yehudit, the story of Yehudit, and that female power. She was really the one who came in and saved the day. And we have, as women, we have that we are so empowered. And what I would say is be intentional, right? There's so many resources out there. There's so many ways that we can quickly get in inspiration. Be intentional. What do I want to take with me for Chanukah? What part of the story resonates with me? What part of the story do I look at and listen to and say, wow, that's amazing, I want to bring that into my life? And then again, it makes everything else fall into place, right? It makes the family time fall into place, because I think one of the things we haven't discussed here is that everyone talks about family time, but you know what? Family time for a lot of people is very, very stressful, right? Whether you want to create this amazing time for your kids, and they all they want to be is out with friends or on their screens or whatnot. And I'm actually going to do a masterclass tonight on that whole screen time thing. But we don't often we don't often talk about the fact that family times for a lot of people equals stress, right? And how we deal with that. So even that is by being intentional and saying, you know what, like, this is what I want to do, right? This is what I want to take, right? I want to have, or even if it's just, I want to have one nice hour together with my family, and I'm going to plan it. I'm going to plan this activity which is fun for them. I'm going to split, and there's so many resources. I have a guide on fun things to do for Chanukah as well that are cheap and easy and really, really fun for families. But let's step back and let's be intentional about what we want to take from it, because there's so many different levels. And then when we sort of realize, hold on a second, there's something bigger going on here, and there's something that I'm taking from it on a soul level that's feeding my soul, then it helps us put all the other physical parts of it into place. Because I'm sure, Esther, you have stuff to say about this, but I know for me, like, one of the things that come up is like Chanukah, which means that my kids finish earlier from school. It means the evenings are busy, there's other stuff going on, and like, how am I going to fit my workouts and my gym into it all, right? Which again, do you have anything to say to that?
I mean, I guess I'll just go a little bit like, I'll first of all, okay, so there's two things I want to say. First, I'll just backtrack again to what I mentioned about, like, let's say we're talking about sukaniyot, like, let's also remember that the same thing applies to your workouts. In the big picture, if you're not getting as many workouts as you usually do throughout your week, throughout Chanukah, like, the world is not going to end. This is a small, tiny fraction of your usual long-term healthy lifestyle. And don't freak out. Don't get upset at yourself. Don't, feel like a failure because you're just, it's all thrown out the window. I didn't work out for the whole Hanukkah, so it's like, it's done. Literally, no. And I mean, listen, if that's like the case where you don't have a chance to get any workouts in Hanukkah, like, okay, so be it. If you have the chance to get in less than usual, that's also like fantastic. My point is, it's just a small, tiny fraction of your long-term lifestyle, of your huge life. And like same example as before that I said, on your deathbed at 120 years old, you are not going to be looking back at that 1 week that you didn't get your workouts in properly.
Or they could do the kids workouts that you have with the kids ones. Those are great for Hanukkah.
Shameless.
Oh, wow. Amazing. I'm gonna check them out.
Like a whole series that I created that basically, first of all, by the way, Bayla's kids did some of the filming with me, and they
love them. We love
them. Oh, amazing. I'm gonna check it out after.
They're great
after
activities to do with the kids when
yeah,
they're home.
you're so right. You're so right. I know we're running out of a little bit of time, so I wanna ask you all to end with one of two things. Either share with us a funny story of Hanukkah, or share with us a myth about Hanukkah that you want to sort of dispel.
Oh, that's really hard.
Should I start?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think when it comes to Hanukkah, like, I do think that on this topic, like, a lot of us, I mean, I guess it's kind of the similar thing of like what I'm saying, but I guess I'll also take the twist in a different direction of like, I think on Hanukkah, there's this idea that it's so unhealthy and it's so bad for you. And it's so like oily and sukaniyot every second, latkes and and it's like whatever. But like, I think that, I don't know, not that it's a myth, but I'm just trying to say, like, it could be that it's also not so overwhelming. Like, you don't have to have, like, I feel like it's just sometimes we have this mentality where it's like, you have to have like 10 sukaniyot a day, and that's just like what it is. That's what Hanukkah is, and my whole health journey is going out the window. It's like, or it could just be like this fun chag where I have a sukaniyah, maybe even once a day, maybe not. Maybe I have latkes here and there, maybe not. Like, I feel like sometimes Chanukah gets this really bad rep that it is so, so unhealthy and so bad. Like, I feel like maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a little less healthy than your usual schedule. So, like, maybe if we go into Chanukah with that mindset of, like, this isn't, like, you diving into this, like, the most unhealthy Chag of the world. Like, you know, like, okay, like maybe it could help your mindset a little bit.
But Esther, I love it because it ties in so well with what you said originally, was that it's not that unhealthy. It's part of our journey to health, because at the end of the day, to be really healthy, you've got to learn to live and put things in the places, and to live with the birthday parties and to the social events and you know, the food everywhere sort of thing, and to kind of say, okay, yes, I do, I don't, whatever, and not bring it all in. And Chanukah's the same. So I love it what you said. And I love that.
Yeah.
Bayla, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. I'm probably going to take something out of your book, but I think we're talking a lot about ourselves and how we're going into Chanukah, but a lot of it is also our kids. So like any of us who are trying to create healthy habits around food, we're definitely, if not intentionally imposing them or giving them to our children, we're definitely passively giving them to our children. And I think two things. One is, the same thing we're talking about for ourselves, that's for our kids also, like the sufganiya or the latkes that they're going to eat, and maybe multiple. And that's not going to be the thing that's going to make your child unhealthy. And like we're talking about, like, that's also, I don't know if that's a myth or just connecting it back to before, but it's like, I think we need to like keep our children in mind. And I just tried to think of, you talked about a story. I couldn't think of a specific story, but I tried to put myself back into myself as a child. And what do I remember about Chanukah each year besides presents? But the best part was actually the time that I got to spend with my parents. My parents worked a lot, and they came home late, and there would be a whole rush of them eating dinner and then everyone getting to bed. And Chanukah was this week that they would come home early, and we would light the candles, and we would just spend time together. Like, I don't even remember exactly what we were doing. We were just all around. We were together. It's just this memory. So when we're thinking about all of this, and something, like you said, we can intentionally come up with games. I also try to sometimes, but usually doesn't end up working out. And just reminding myself, just spending time together, just the time. It doesn't have to actually be doing anything. We're just sitting in front of the Hanukkah candles, maybe coloring in a coloring book. Just spending time is probably the thing that they'll remember the most, and you'll remember the most anyway. So all of these things that we're, you know, afraid of and obsessing over and everything, like, that's really what's going to stay in the long term. So that's, yeah.
It's stunning. I love it. I love it. And it's so true, because it's such an opportunity. And what's also interesting is that, like, for anyone that struggles with body image or struggles with mindsets about food, we know that the last thing we want is our kids to grow up with that sort of same struggle. We want our kids to be able to look at a donut and see a donut. We don't want to look at them to look at a donut and see their self-worth and, am I a good person or a bad person because I say yes? And the only way to do that is by fixing ourselves, because as careful as we are and whatever, if we don't fix it for ourselves, if we don't say to ourselves, you know what, this year I'm actually going to say, I'm going to work on actually having a healthy mindset around the whole Hanukkah. We're not just doing it for ourselves, and we matter enough, but we're also doing it for our kids, and that should be like enough of an incentive to do it as well. Dalia, what were you gonna say?
So actually, I want to add up to what you're saying, Gila and Bayla, and also Esther. But what we do is, sometimes my kids see me, oh, mommy, you are the health coach, you're the freaky one, whatever. But what I try to do in order to have a balance at home is to involve my children, especially Chanukah is coming up. Yes, it can be stressful for some families, but what we do is we try to take this time as family time and involve the children. What do they want to eat? What do they want to play? What kind of activities they want to do? Our kids, we are in Chutz La'aretz, they have still school, they're finishing earlier, but they still have school. So they have the program in school where they're also getting the sufganiyot there, and they're getting the latkes, and they're getting like hot dogs, whatever. And then they come home, and we're lighting candles, we're playing games, and these are things that they remember. And I think it's having this balance, like I said at the beginning, of it's not all or nothing, and showing the kids that we are also normal, that it's not, you want them to grow healthy, and knowing that it's healthy to have a donut. And what Bayla said, it was like also listening to the body. For some kids, they might say, I don't want more, because they know the tummy is hurting or it might not be good. But children don't always know up to that level. And it's actually us as parents try to say, okay, so you're having also healthier alternatives. It doesn't have to be all oily or all sugary. It's not an halacha to eat donuts. It's more a minhag. And,
yes.
It's trying to also find the right alternative. So you're not going to have unhealthy food every night, but it's actually getting them involved and making choices with them and really make this whole Chanukah period, because it's 8 days, to enjoy it with balance, right? And for that, I also have, if anybody wants, I have some healthy tips and recipes on my link, on my bio, where I'm actually giving healthy alternatives to make latkes in the oven, or donuts with coconut oil and spelt flour. You can fry them, you can bake them, and the kids might enjoy it as well, making it with you. So it's all really about finding also healthier alternatives and not just taking sugar and oil for granted, right? So
and I really like what you said about balance. Wow, we've done so much, we've got so much. I'm gonna share one last myth that I want to think is, a lot of times we hear about the story of Chanukah and we think it's like this ancient story that happened like way back, which it did happen way back when with like elephants and big armies, and it just seems a bit like, okay, but an old story. But I think there is so much of the story that sort of relates to what we're struggling, right? Like, which Jewish person hasn't ever struggled with, do I feel comfortable being visibly Jewish outside, right? Who has never, whether you're Jewish or not, struggled with am I comfortable with standing up for my values in the face of opposition, right? These are all struggles that we struggle with today, right? And there's inspiration for it. So what I would say, it's a myth of it is that it's just that old story. It's a fun thing, but it's also it's also a great thing to discuss together with your kids, right? Like, talk about, like, what would you do if someone, if you were told you can't do X, Y, Z, but you believe it's the right thing to do, right? If you see someone else getting hurt, would you be comfortable standing up? Talk about how hard it is, how difficult it is. And like, if you look at the Chanukah story, most people failed, right? Most people were not able to stand up for what they believed in the right is, but there were the Maccabees, and look what came about because of the Maccabees. Like, there's so much that we can take for ourselves, for our kids from it, that it's not just that old story, and it's not just a donut, it's just not just a latke. It's this amazing, beautiful opportunity where we can feed our bodies in a healthy way. We can feed our souls in a healthy way. We can spend time together, hopefully less stress, which didn't have time to talk about today, but we'll another time, please God. Esther, Dalia, Bayla, I love this. This was amazing. Like, so much knowledge, so much inspiration, so much good stuff for people. Thank you so much for giving of your time. And
thank you.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. All right. Happy Chanukah.
Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please rate, review, or subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out. And if you'd like to book a call, I'm offering complimentary strategy calls to talk about how you can make the most out of your life. You can check the show notes for how to book a call while this offer lasts. Have a wonderful day and an incredibly uplifting, healthy, fun, and inspiring Chanukah.